Elyze McDonald Iriarte as a Superior Court of Guam judge is hereby convened. Just for the information, in compliance with the open government law, the initial notification was sent out by the committee on the 3rd of October, with the subsequent notification being sent to the stakeholders as well as to the community on the 6th of October. I'd like to, as chair, thank the media partners in our community for sharing and disseminating this particular confirmation hearing. And would like to just thank them very much for assisting in this particular process. Ladies and gentlemen, the format will be, we will go according to those who have signed in. I do know that a number of us have signed in and would not like to provide oral testimony, but you signed in to show your support for the nominee. So just signify when in fact I call your name, and we will proceed to the next individual on the list. Like I said a little earlier, the only item on this confirmation hearing is the appointment of Elyze Iriarte as a Superior Court of Guam judge. I'd like to thank the senators who have joined us this afternoon. Speaker Wampat, who's to my far left, Vice Speaker Cruz, Senator Mike Nicholas, Senator Tony Ada, and Majority Leader Senator Rory Speaker. Thank you very much, senators, colleagues, for joining us this afternoon. Just for the information of the public also, the background information was initiated immediately after we received notification of this particular appointment, in which the legislature did receive the documents on the 9th of September by the governor of Guam to the speaker. The background investigation was initiated prior to that. A draft has already been forwarded to the committee and has been made available to members of this committee for their personal view. Following the conclusion of that particular report, it will be inserted and incorporated into the committee report as we report out the nomination. Also, I'd like to say that a legislative subpoena has been extended to the Honorable Chief Judge of the U.S. District Court, Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood, because of her affiliation and her prior working relationship with the nominee. Receiving as much input from the community would be necessary in this case, so that was extended to her. Also, I would like to say that the committee has received written testimony from the following individuals: the Public Utilities Commission representative, Mr. Fred Harecki, also from Attorney Dana Gutierrez. Also have received written testimony from Sofia Diaz. Confirmation hearing testimony also from Attorney Donald Calvo. Also from Attorney Andrew Serge Kenga. And from the Retirement Fund, Paula M. Blas. And finally from Andrew Gale, who has also submitted testimony on behalf of the nominee. So that being said, we will proceed with the list of individuals who have signed in. Based on the initial invitees, I'd like to invite the following individuals to please join us up front. Attorney Anita Ariola, Mayor Paul McDonald, Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood, and Chief Justice Torres. Please, if you can all join us up front. Again, Attorney Anita Ariola, Mayor Paul McDonald, Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood, and Chief Justice Torres. Attorney Ariola, if you can please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
My name is Anita Ariola. I'm an attorney in Guam, and I'm a partner at Iriarte.
I don't think she's on.
I'm sorry, Attorney Ariola, is your mic on?
Is it on now?
Yes.
Okay. Buenas, Chairman Aguon and members of the committee. I am writing on behalf of my entire law firm to support wholeheartedly the nomination of Elyze Iriarte as a judge to the Superior Court of Guam. My father, Mr. Ariola, who knows Mrs. Josephine McDonald very well, unfortunately could not be here today. He's off island. So is my partner, Mark Cowan, and my brother and partner, Jay, also wanted to be here, but he is in court this afternoon. I have had the pleasure of knowing Elyze in her 15 years of practice in Guam. I have worked with her on some cases, and I have also been opposing counsel in other cases. She is a consummate professional. She's a very good, intelligent, and hardworking lawyer, and I always knew that when I was up against her in a case that I had to step up my game because she's a credible and worthy opponent. I saw her in court frequently. She is exceedingly comfortable in a courtroom, and she has a certain presence that commands respect. She represented her clients very well, and it is because of her hard work and dedication to her practice that she was promoted to partner at Carl Smith. She formed her own law firm, and she is now appointed as a judge to the Superior Court. I believe that Elyze has a deep respect for the law and a commitment to ensuring that litigants who come before her will be treated fairly and justly. It is for these reasons that I and all the other members of my firm strongly support her nomination to the Superior Court of Guam. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present my testimony today, I was going to say Your Honor, Senator.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, Your Honor. Yeah.
The Vice Speaker's in our presence. Thank you very much, Attorney Ariola.
You're welcome.
Madam Chief Judge.
Thank you. Half a day, and good afternoon, Chairman Frank Blas Aguon Jr. and members of the committee. Having received a subpoena to testify, this is the only way I could testify for a nominee. I appreciate having received that today. It is my honor to do so in support of Elyze McDonald Iriarte for the vacant trial judge position at the Superior Court of Guam, a position near and dear to my heart and to the heart of Justice Cruz here. I have known Mrs. Elyze McDonald Iriarte for approximately 15 years. Specifically, I've known her in my professional capacity as a Superior Court Judge, Supreme Court Justice, Associate Justice, and currently as a Chief Judge for the Federal District Court of Guam. She has appeared many times before me in my judicial capacities, representing various types of clients. In each appearance, she was well prepared, very professional, and has had a great presence and demeanor. Her oral arguments were succinct and persuasive. She is a good writer, very clear and to the point. She always is very civil to opposing counsel, which is something I expect in my courtroom, no matter how adversarial a proceeding can become. Ms. Iriarte has a quietness and calmness befitting of a judge. One of my favorite quotes hanging in my chamber comes from Socrates. He says, 4 things belong to a judge: to hear courteously, to answer wisely, to consider soberly, and to decide impartially. Elise already exhibits all of these important traits. Based on her extensive resume before you and her background investigation report, I am confident that she will be another daughter of Guam worthy of your confirmation vote. Masi, Chairman Aguon, for allowing me to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Chief Justice Torres.
Half a day and good afternoon, Senators, Chairman. Senator Aguon, I want to thank you for the opportunity to submit testimony relative to the nomination of Ms. Elyze Iriarte to serve as a judge of the Superior Court of Guam, filling the vacancy left by the resignation of Judge James L. Canto II. We're here today in conjunction with the legislature's reasoned and principled discharge of its advice and consent power. Our law envisions that the legislature play a meaningful and constructive role in the judicial confirmation process by examining a nominee's qualifications, competence, integrity, experience, and judicial temperament. Judges and justices usually only appear at public hearings or otherwise consult with the legislative body on matters concerning the law, the legal system, or the administration of justice. A judge is also permitted to participate in the process of judicial selection by cooperating with the confirming authorities and responding to official inquiries concerning a person being considered for judgeship. We can also make a recommendation or serve as a reference, provided that that reference is based on personal knowledge about the reference, is factual, and is directed to the factors relevant to the performance of the office. And it's in that vein that I testify before you today. A few months ago, Governor Eddie Calvo nominated Attorney Iriarte to fill the vacancy on the Superior Court bench. Although Judge Pro Tem Ingalls has been assisting in the transition in the interim, in the past few months, the lack of the 7th judge has had a significant impact on the caseload of the current sitting judges. It's our grave concern that the strain of additional cases absorbed by each of the judges will soon have a very negative impact on the efficiency of the court. It's imperative, therefore, that the legislature act quickly upon the nomination of Ms. Iriarte. Elise has appeared before me many times at the Supreme Court of Guam. Based on my own personal observations, she's displayed that she is an effective and competent advocate for her clients. She has the experience and has always acted with integrity in my courtroom. I believe she exhibits the right judgment and temperament to sit on the bench, and I urge the legislature to expeditiously consider and vote on the governor's nomination of Elyze Iriarte as the next judge of the Superior Court of Guam. Dankluna Sidzuz Masi.
Thank you, Chief Justice Torres, for your testimony this afternoon. Mayor McDonald.
Good afternoon, Chair, Senators. I have known Elise for all through my life. Well, let me go back again. I am Mayor Paul McDonald. I'm the Mayor of Agana Heights.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I'm here to testify and thank you. I have known Elise all through my life. And she's one of the McDonalds that have really worked hard, and she's always been very, very smart. And I can attest to you guys that we were kept up with her progress as she was going through school by her grandma. Whenever she comes around, she would update us with what's going on, and we're very proud of her. And she'd be a good nominee. And again, with the McDonald side of Agana Heights, I can attest that everybody would be in support of her. And thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mayor McDonald. Senators, any question for the members in the panel? If not, Chief Justice Torres, Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood, Attorney Anita Arriola, and Mayor McDonald, thank you very much for your testimony this afternoon. I would like to invite the following individuals to join us up front. If by any chance I mention your name and you signed in to signify that in fact you're in support of the nominee and not necessarily provide oral testimony, then please let me know. Ms. Elaine McDonald, Catherine McDonald, Odelia Jaime, Jane Flores, Jesusa Kenga, Trina Perez, Mary Kanata, Davina Sayama, Pio Binondo, James II. Sorry, James. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for signing in and showing your support for the nominee. I will continue to call out individuals. If by any chance you're going to provide oral testimony, then please, you're more than welcome to join us up front. J. Leon Guerrero, Mike Gatewood, Lawling Pangilinan, Andrew Serge Kenga, Benita Isaac, Joseph McDonald, Elena McDonald, or Evelina McDonald, apologize. John McDonald, Vince Camacho, no? Patricia Talahi, Meredith Sayer, Regina Bisco Lee, Joe McDonald, Jessica Stout, Andrew Gale, Lorraine Okada, Terry Aligarbis. We have one more seat. Shirley Marvestone. I'm sorry, Shirley, if I mispronounce your name. William Brennan, Jean Santos, Joe McDonald? Okay. Attorney Kenga, please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Hafaday Chairman Frank Aguon Jr. and members of the committee, my name is Andrew Serge Kenga, a former Assistant Attorney General for Guam, former staff attorney in the Judiciary of Guam, former Guam compiler of laws, and current in-house counsel for a large telecommunications provider in Guam, and member of the Guam Bar Association since 1996. I thank you for the opportunity and honor to provide this testimony in support of the confirmation of Elyze McDonald Iriarte as judge of the Superior Court of Guam. In 20 years of practicing law in Guam, I have come to know many lawyers who are very good at practicing law and representing clients. However, in my opinion, very few have the temperament, objectivity, confidence, and humility necessary to make an exceptional judicial officer. Elyze is one of the few. I have known Elyze personally since she started practicing law and professionally for at least the past 5 years through her representation of my company. I have worked closely with her and have come to trust her representation, professionalism, and judgment without reservation. I can say with utmost confidence that Elyze will make an excellent trial court judge. I base this on over 10 years of working with judges and justices in the Judiciary of Guam and on years of professional experience with her. The judiciary is in desperate need for another judge. I respectfully urge the legislature to confirm Elyze as soon as possible so that she can begin work as a judge. Elyze will serve the people of Guam as a judge for many years to come. I have no doubt that history will show her to be one of the finest judicial officers that Guam has ever produced. Thank you for the opportunity to submit this testimony in support of Elyze's confirmation.
Thank you very much, Attorney Kenga. Mr. Gale?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hafaday to Mr. Chairman and the distinguished members of this committee. Thank you for affording me this opportunity to provide brief comments. By the way, my name is Andrew Gale. I am the Chief Operating Officer of GTA, and I'm also the Chairman of the Guam Solid Waste Authority Board. I have had the pleasure of working with Elyze Iriarte in those two separate capacities, as the Chief Operating Officer of GTA and as the Chairman of the Solid Waste Authority Board. I believe she possesses the intelligence, wisdom, temperament, and demeanor to be a successful member of the judiciary to the benefit of the island of Guam. As outside counsel for GTA, Elyze has represented us successfully in court and demonstrated her mastery of the law, as well as the rules and procedures of the court system. She offered prudent legal advice and strategy that has proven successful and beneficial to GTA as a client. I believe she will be a great asset to the bench for commercial and civil issues in that capacity. As a member of the GSWA board, Elyze has demonstrated her commitment to public service in a situation that can be quite adversarial at times, based on the current legal status of the authority. Elyze has been able to review the issues as presented and formulate guidance, advice, and opinions dispassionately and with great articulation. I observed her calm demeanor and even temperament in sometimes heated board meetings, and it is these qualities that will make her an excellent judge, in this layperson's opinion. While I'm here testifying on her behalf, I find myself slightly torn. If she gets confirmed, I will lose a great attorney and for my company, and I'll lose an excellent board member. But I think I'll go ahead and recommend her anyways. I believe in Elyze, and I think that Guam will benefit from her being on the bench, and I wholeheartedly recommend her confirmation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gale, for your testimony this afternoon. Mr. Carter?
Hafaday, Honorable Frank Blas Aguon Jr., and the rest of the members of the committee. I'm honored to be here to express my support for Elyze McDonald Iriarte as Superior Court of Guam Judge. My name is Lorraine Okada, owner of Okada Managing Consulting Services. I reside at 146 Tijan Place in the village of Barrigada. I strongly support the nomination of Elyze McDonald for judge. I have had the unique opportunity to know her personally as well as professionally. Personally, I am her godmother for confirmation, and professionally, I worked with her while I was the executive manager of the Carl Smith Bowl Law Firm now known as ICC, the Iriarte Camacho Calvo law firm. On a personal level, I was deeply honored that she chose me to be her confirmation godmother in 2005. I know her to be a woman of faith. I know her as honest and forthright. I have had the opportunity to witness her growth as the daughter of Jim and Janet McDonald, then wife of Jan Iriarte, and mother of her son Ignacio and her daughter Ce. She is patient, humble, and compassionate, and has a very strong sense and dedication of family values. On a professional level, I have had the first-hand experience working with her at Carl Smith Ball, which is now the ICC law firm, and then as my client, providing human resources consulting services to her law firm, now over 15 years for both firms. During this period, I observed her professional growth from first-year attorney right out of law school to become a partner of the law firm. I believe she was the youngest lawyer ever named partner for such a large firm. And then I saw her grow in her professional growth as my client. She has strong work ethics. She's hardworking, attentive, diligent, and has a deep sense of fairness. She has one of the keenest legal minds I have ever encountered. She has the ability to quickly get to the heart of the legal issue. She really deserved the promotions that she got every step of the way. Elise is a woman of integrity. Her depth of knowledge is impressive, and her sense of wisdom surprises you for someone of such a young age. Her decisions are based on law and facts, but added with a sense of wisdom, which has earned her, as you heard the testimonies earlier, earned her the respect of judges, attorneys, as well as her clients. Elyze has a strong sense of community and desire to contribute to our community. She volunteers and supports organizations such as the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Girl Scouts of America here in Guam, the Guam Chamber of Commerce, the Society of Human Resources Management, and many, many more. Her ethics are beyond reproach. Her fair and ethical values and integrity are important to her. This has built a strong sense of confidence, independence, and character, a perfect combination that adds to her trustworthiness. As you have heard, the combination of her education, legal experience, intelligence, ethical values, character, integrity, and competence in legal reasoning are the qualities you can find in Elyze McDonald Iriarte. This certainly makes her an excellent addition as judge of the Superior Court of Guam. Thank you for considering my nomination.
Thank you very much, Ms. Okada, for your testimony this afternoon. Mr. McDonald, please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Joseph McDonald, Assistant Attorney General. Elise is my niece, and I'm here to support her nomination, and it is an amazing, a wonderful, and a wondrous sight to see today that she has been nominated and now stands before the committee for this confirmation. Having known Elise all her life, I can tell you that her development has always surprised us about her wisdom at a very young age and her intellect at a very young age, and how that has progressed all her life, and the professional that she's become. It is almost incomprehensible that this little girl that I had known since a very young age has really risen to such heights in her professional career. And I echo all the sentiments that the other witnesses have provided today. Her character is phenomenal. Her work ethic is one of the strongest work ethics that you will ever see, and which is very necessary for this court, which is a very, very busy court. The depth of our knowledge in civil matters will be of great benefit to this court. And so, without belaboring the point which has been made by the other witnesses, I would just like to say that I wholeheartedly support this nomination and am in favor of it. And I trust that the senators and the committee will also find favorably for Ms. McDonald. Thank you very much. Iriarte McDonald. McDonald Iriarte.
Thank you very much, Mr. McDonald. Any questions for the panel members? If not, Mr. Kinga, Mr. Gale, Ms. Okada, and Mr. McDonald, thank you for your testimony this afternoon. We will proceed to the additional members or individuals who have signed up. Mel Mendiola, Marlene Carbolito, Jonathan DeKnight. Please join us up front if by any chance you're going to be providing oral testimony. And Dana Gutierrez. And the last individual prior to the nominee, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's anyone else in the audience who would like to provide testimony, I have Rossi Tolentino. Rossi, if you would like to provide oral testimony, you're more than welcome to join us up front. If not, it's going to be just Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan, just please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Afade, honorable senators, I'm Nathan DeKnight. Thank you for allowing me to share my testimony in favor of my friend Elyze McDonald Iriarte. I've known Elyze since our middle school days at St. John's. There were a lot of really, really smart people in our class, but I would say Elyze was right at the top. In fact, she's probably the smartest person I have ever met. She would go on to earn the International Baccalaureate degree at St. John's, which basically means you have no life and have to study like crazy. So you could definitely characterize her as hardworking and committed even in high school. She went on to the University of Chicago for her undergrad and USC for her JD, both top-notch schools. She then made partner at Carl Smith & Ball after only 6 years. Currently, she is the founding member of her own firm, and she's done all this before turning 40. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that I'm almost 40. It's obvious she has the legal ability and experience required to make a great judge. But what other qualities should a good judge have? So I went online last night to look it up and came across the term judicial temperament. It said a candidate should be able to deal with people calmly and courteously and should be willing to hear and consider the views of all sides of a case. A good judge needs to be even-tempered yet firm, open-minded yet willing and able to reach a decision, confident yet not self-centered. So basically, this is the exact definition of Elise's temperament. No joke. You could literally put her photo next to this definition in the dictionary. Moreover, she has a reputation for excellent character and integrity. I was really trying to come up with some embarrassing story from our school days about Elyze and really couldn't think of anything. I even asked the question on our class chat, and all I got was that she was a New Kids on the Block fan. So I guess the only real question mark here is that she's friends with me. But seriously, I'm so proud of her, a successful attorney, dedicated wife and mother of two, and now a judge to be. I asked her why she would give up such a successful private sector career for a life behind the bench, and she said she was really inspired by her time as a law clerk at the district court. She felt it was her calling to serve the public and make a difference in her community. And personally, I think becoming a judge is exactly what she was born to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. DeKnight, for your testimony this afternoon. If I can invite former Chief Justice Pete Sequenza, please, if you would like to join us up front. That's correct. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any other individuals in the audience who would like to provide testimony prior to the nominee, please ensure that I am made aware of it. Otherwise, Chief Justice Sequenza will be the final oral presenter this afternoon prior to the nominee. Chief Justice, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I am here to support Elyze McDonald Iriarte as judge for the Superior Court. I've been down there, and so has and so has Senator Cruz. we know what it's like. I know what it's like. And I know that having observed her for pretty much her whole life, her parents and I were very, very close friends. Her parents and me and my late wife would go camping together, would go watch movies together. They'd come into our place all the time. And so I've seen her grow up. And she's turned into a very, very, very smart person. The whole family is very smart. You can look at all their resumes and see what colleges they went to. Georgetown, Fordham, and University of Chicago. Not like some of us who went to Cal State. But actually, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have concerning her qualifications to be a judge of the Superior Court. And if you don't have any questions, well, I encourage questions. Anybody?
Thank you, Chief Justice Seguenza. Any questions for Chief Justice Seguenza? Thank you for your testimony this afternoon.
Very, very well. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for signing in and signifying your support for the nominee, and those of you who also provided oral testimony. At this time, I'd like to invite the nominee, Attorney Elyze McDonald Iriarte, if you can join us up front. Please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Hafaday, my name is Elyze McDonald Iriarte. I want to thank Speaker Wampat, Vice Speaker Cruz, Chairman Aguon, and all the senators here and the members of the Judiciary Committee. I want to thank you for my consideration of the nomination to the Superior Court of Guam. Before I deliver some prepared remarks, please allow me to introduce members of my family. Some of you've heard from already. I guess they left the room. With me today is my husband of 6 years, John Iriarte. Most people know him as a 3-time Olympian for Guam in the sport of windsurfing. At home, he's known as Dada by our 3-year-old energetic son, Ignacio, and our 2-year-old daughter, Ce. Also here with me today, as you've already heard, is my grandmother, Josefina McDonald. She was a longtime employee of the legislature and the judiciary, and at 90 years old, she still keeps all of us on our toes. Sorry, Grandma. Okay. Also with me is my my father-in-law, Ignacio Iriarte, who is also a former advisor to a number of senators, including the chairman, as well as Senator Parkinson, and I believe the lieutenant governor. Now, my parents aren't here today. 20 years ago, they left Guam, and they couldn't make it back for this occasion. But in their place are their siblings from both my McDonald side and my Taitano side, and I'm very grateful for their support. I am in awe of the breadth of responsibilities that those who sit as trial judges undertake. If I'm confirmed by you, I will be adjudicating over the breakups of families and helping the children heal. I will be observing and determining whether a criminal defendant has committed a crime and then ensuring that the victim receives justice. I will be taking the laws that you write and deliberate over in this very building and interpreting them as best as I can for those litigants before me. These are heavy issues, and they're important issues for all the people who would appear before me. A judge, and especially a trial judge in the Superior Court of Guam, must have both the intellectual capacity to handle the variety and complexity of cases and issues, but also the understanding of the impact that the decision is about to have and will have on all of those affected. Making these decisions will take reasoned and often quick thinking, and I want to assure you I will convey these attributes if I have the privilege to sit on the bench. While I have been in the legal field for 15 years, let me first talk to you about who I am, where I came from, and the foundations of my character. I grew up in Cañada, Barragata, one of 4 daughters to my parents, James and Jenadine Taitano McDonald. Like many of us who lived in that era, we lived in a house with a tin roof next door to my grandparents. I also spent lots of time with my maternal grandparents, Jesus and Isabel Kichicho Taitano, who operated the Sinahanya post office, and oftentimes I would be in there trying to be a postal assistant. Those times were simple times, and they were about family and community. Of all the values that my parents instilled, one in particular, the love of learning, will play a critical role in the task of adjudication. Growing up, my mother was a young mother and a secretary. My dad was college educated and a lover of reading. They taught me and my sisters the importance of education. While it may not be obvious, the love of learning is a critical and inherent part in the practice of law. Every case is a new story, a new legal analysis, a new strategy, and an outcome tailored to those facts. It's this background of love of education that will support my adjudication of cases. My parents also taught us humility and respect, two attributes that somehow go undervalued when it comes to justice. A judicial position is a powerful one. It needs to be tempered with humility. A judge is not perfect and does not have all of the answers. Like anyone else, a judge comes with inherent assumptions and biases about an issue. Should I be confirmed as a judge, I will be open-minded and endeavor to challenge my prior thinking on any issue, guided by the laws that this honorable body drafts and the precedent set by the U.S. and Guam Supreme Courts. Finally, respect is inherent in our community. Against my peers in the bar, I've always practiced with a demeanor that's polite and courteous. I've always believed and practiced the belief that cases are won with analysis and persuasive skills, not nasty rhetoric. I will carry the same deportment as a judge. Many people have asked how I ended up in the law. When I graduated from St. John's School in 1995 and I went on to the University of Chicago, I chose the major that interested me the most. It was called Law, Letters, and Society. As I approached the end of my college days after some brutal winters in Chicago, I decided I wasn't done learning about the law. I packed my bags for LA and I enrolled at the USC Law School. During my first summer after law school, I knew I wanted to test what it would be like to live back home as an adult professional. So I signed up for an externship with the District Court of Guam under Chief Judge John Impinko. In 1999, even before the federal courthouse had been finished, I spent a summer observing and analyzing cases under Judge Impinko's tutelage. It was there that I first formed the understanding that being on that side of the courtroom, and particularly in this island, may fit me the best, because I came back home before law school even finished to start a clerkship. It was a heavy criminal docket at that time, and the crime du jour of the early part of the millennium was alien smuggling. The court heard multiple multi-defendant alien smuggling cases, persons who bought an opportunity to get on a boat and swim to a shore for freedom, but got caught. But let me relate the experience that I remember most from my time there, and it was an experience that taught me that judges' decisions are often never easy. During my time, a heroin dealer sought to reduce his sentence, and my research revealed that his petition had merit. Judge Impinko struggled with this issue, as he had remembered convicting and sentencing this particular defendant, who posed a real danger to society. I won't forget that we spent hours and hours of discussions over this particular case. After my clerkship, I joined a law firm where I stayed for 14 years until starting my own firm just back in April. Now I want to share some of my more significant work with you today. I have had a few clients who have been with me since the beginning of my career, and one of those clients is the Government of Guam Retirement Fund. In my work for the fund, I have defended in court many of their actions, including their abidance by Public Law 2838, the health insurance bailout agreement of 2011. I have worked with the fund to refine its procedures on disability retirement applications, and I've also assisted with drafting numerous forms of legislation, including the elected board format. In my past 5 years of practice, I have also had a heavy concentration on an area of law frustrating to many Guam businesses, which is the Government of Guam procurement. Among other cases, I prevailed in Townhouse versus Department of Education, which outlined how to file a procurement action in the Superior Court. I also worked on Teleguam versus GSA, which forces the government to follow laws requiring it to keep a complete procurement record. I am most proud of the work I've done in employment law. Employment has been the cornerstone of my civil litigation practice. In 2008, I prevailed in Quijano versus Atkins Kroll, a Guam Supreme Court case that affirms the applicability of the at-will doctrine to employment contracts on Guam. I have helped numerous clients understand and face allegations of discrimination. Through this work and through employment law workshops I have conducted, I have helped Guam employers improve their discrimination, harassment, and anti-retaliation policies. My experience in civil litigation is not confined to Guam. I am licensed and I carry a license and I practice before the courts of Hawaii, the CNMI, and Palau. I carry a law license in California. I have appeared in cases in the Federated States of Micronesia on one of my core areas of practice, which is maritime litigation. At the federal level, I have practiced before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals, and I'm licensed to practice in the United States Supreme Court. I will bring to the bench my knowledge of how these other courts and jurisdictions efficiently administer justice. My civil litigation career has been highly rewarding, but I am here before you because I seek to be of greater service to the people of Guam. I bring with me not just my 15 years of litigation practice, but my perspective and experiences as a native Chamorro and as a mother. I lastly want to thank the governor for having the confidence in me to take on this role, and I want to say how touched I am by all of those who have come here today to support me. Situ Usmasi.
Thank you very much, Ms. Iriarte, for your testimony this afternoon. I know there's going to be several questions posed, and first of all, I want to just thank you very much for visiting my office prior to this particular confirmation hearing, because it gave me an opportunity to be able to sit down with you and understand your perspective. And to me, it's very commendable to see future colleagues or peers, such as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood, a lot of your peers as attorneys, and also the retired Chief Justice Ziguenza, step forward and really extend accolades with regards to your nomination and your appointment. And also to see family members, chances are it's expected as part of the process, but certainly a lot of them enumerated your experience, your background, and your upbringing. And that's truly reflective of many of the things that you've done. Our conversation brought us to the nature of the community. And really, you started off your statements by focusing on families and the impact that decisions ultimately would make on impacting the families. And to me, that already hits home in terms of your perspective that you will bring to the bench. The investigative report, just for your information, will be concluded shortly. And I will continue to allow the committee to receive written testimony 10 days subsequent to this hearing, and then proceed to close the committee report so that, in fact, we can report your nomination to the main body and then consider it at that point in time. So I want to, first of all, or additionally, extend my appreciation to Governor Cabo for not only identifying a young individual, but certainly someone that has all the qualities and the temperament of, at least from my perspective, of serving in that particular capacity. And I congratulate you for accepting this challenge, because it is the epitome of public service. And to have all of the family members show up and all of the individuals who have provided testimony speaks very highly of your credentials, your experience, and most importantly, the impact that you've had on their lives. So I congratulate you on your nomination. And barring any negative major incident, which we know will not be anticipated, you certainly have my support as chairman of this committee. So I'd like to now open this floor to any individuals that have questions. Madam Speaker? Mr. Vice Speaker?
I too just want to thank Judge nominee McDonald Iriarte for coming to my office to discuss this appointment. We had a very long talk, and I was very happy. I told her I'd been waiting for this for a long time. I, like the former Chief Justice, have known her since birth. I think she was that young when we first met her at the governor's office. and so it has been great to watch her grow, and all the assistance that she has provided, especially my committee, in the preparation of the retirement laws. And so I am very, like Mr. Gale, I'm happy that she's going to the bench, but I'm sad that we're going to lose a very professional and intelligent young woman in the bar, but I think the bench could use the assistance, and I want to thank her for stepping up when it's not going to be as lucrative as the practice, but it will allow you some time and hopefully spend it with that beautiful little bright-eyed child. So again, you, as I told you in my office, you have my full support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Speaker. Mr. Majority Leader?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Charles. I had an opportunity to sit down with the judge nominee. Thank you for affording me that time to just have a very fruitful discussion on how it's possible for a civil litigator with 15 years of legal experience to really support what the judiciary has been doing with respect to therapeutic jurisprudence. And we had a very good conversation, and it's very clear that you're going to be handling juvenile cases from time to time. And we spend a lot of time talking about how during that time the judges were very and are still very supportive of the aftercare and Jumpstart and other programs at the Department of Youth Affairs other than those programs dealing with the youth correctional facilities. So I just want to give you a little bit opportunity to say those things for the record, that you really understand how the whole justice system has been progressing over the decade with respect to not only adjudicating these offenders, juvenile and adults alike, but providing a holistic approach together with the community and the family to have the principles of restorative justice. I mean, I was just so I would have supported you anyway, but I was just so encouraged that's your in your own thinking, you're certainly supportive of those programs.
All right. Thank you, Senator Respicio, for the opportunity to share some of my views on that. As we discussed, incarceration is not the answer. Incarceration is not the answer to all crimes. Some crimes where we have rehabilitation as a proven method, we should try that method. We talked about how expensive it is to incarcerate people at DOC, and some of my clients are vendors to DOC, so I have firsthand knowledge of the amount that DOC pays on a daily basis, and it's quite astounding. I think if we have an opportunity to reintegrate people back into the community successfully, then we should be trying those options. And I know the judiciary has many programs where it incorporates veterans back into the community, persons who are adult drug offenders or even juvenile drug offenders. Now, while that's not an area that I've touched on much, if any, in my 15 years of civil litigation practice, I'm familiar with some of these these new courts that the Superior Court of Guam has set up, and I'm very interested in getting to know more about how those programs operate, and I fully support them, and I will incorporate them should I be confirmed.
Yeah, thank you. And also in our meeting, I came to the conclusion right away that you were born to be a judge.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
And then you're the people that came forward this afternoon to provide testimony really confirmed that. And the chairman alluded to some things that might come up in your background check. I think the only thing that may come up, which Nate already spoke to, is that you were friends with him. I don't think that will stop. That would definitely not stop me from moving forward and supporting you. Nate's done very well at GVB, so my congratulations, and also to your family. What a very proud moment for your entire family.
Thank you very much,
Thank you for
Senator.
accepting the governor's appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Respicio. Senator Muñoz.
Mr. Chair. Elise, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. We did talk for quite a while, and I was impressed with your resume and just being able to talk about all this experience you had. I was intrigued by your experience in the maritime law, and more importantly, just the winning streak that you had with all the cases that you were able to, with all the clients that you were able to represent. More importantly, even your work that you did with the nonprofit organizations, and I see some folks in the audience out here that are here for your support also, and they're part of those nonprofit organizations. And I just want to say thank you for truly stepping up to the plate. I know that when the governor sent the representation down, I said the first thing that got me was, you're a woman, and you know, having to step up to the plate and work this, knowing that you're very young, and that your business was doing very, very well. I know that your partners are probably gonna feel really bad about that, but I think this is a plus for the community and a plus for Guam, and just having the judicial temperament to be able to be open to all the issues. I think you're going to do very well. I've shared with you in private that you got my support. I will share to you in front of your family and your supporters that you will have my 100% support, and I'm really hoping that it could get on the next session agenda. But thank you so very much, and to your family. Sean and I went to the SPG games back in 1991, I think. Yeah, we were playing basketball and he was surfing, so. But thank you and congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Senator Barnes. Senator Toniata.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ma'am, just like to thank you for taking the governor's nomination, accepting his nomination to become the next Superior Court Judge of Guam. I know it's a tug and pull, right? The law firm that you started and seeing where it was at to where it is today, and then stepping away from that to step into the Superior Court, and that must have been something to struggle with, and the support of your husband, your family, obviously made that decision, and with their support, you were able to come to the conclusion that this is the route you really want to take and where you want to be, and not only helping our island and our people, but ensuring that the laws that are well vetted and adhered to and followed. I just want you to know that even though we did not have the opportunity to meet and sit down, I do look forward to sitting with you anytime, just to talk about whatever it is that we could have talked about, and we didn't have that opportunity. But I hope that you're ready to run and roll, because it looks like Chief Justice Torres is ready to get you over there and get you started and get these cases rolling, and get the courts back up to speed, and hopefully be able to give you that caseload that you're not looking forward to, but you're going to take care of anyway. But you have my full support, and you have my vote of confidence. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Toniata. Senator Mary Camacho Torres.
Mrs. Iriarte, I just want to commend you for recognizing your calling, and I also want to commend you for knowing that your mission and the success of your mission as a judicial officer is really in some form borne by your family, the success of it. And as a spouse of a judicial officer as well, I just want to let you know that we are here, we will be there to support your family. And the one good consolation to that is it's a wonderful way to raise young children, because they grow up understanding self-discipline and self-regulation, because those things are necessary for you to be a successful judicial officer as well. So that's the one blessing, I guess, behind all the sacrifice that they'll have to endure with you. But I've heard nothing but good things about you, and I just want to congratulate you and assure you that you have my support. And going forward, you do have the support of me as a spouse of a judicial officer also. So si Diyos maasi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Torres. Senator Mike Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Elise, as I was reviewing your nomination packet, it occurred to me that you graduated from high school just 3 years before I did. That has me really excited, because I think that it's really great to have someone of our generation actually being on the bench. I think it's going to offer a different kind of perspective and bring a unique set of talents and skills to the service of the community in that capacity. I wanted to ask, because you have a whole lot of things going for you prior to you actually deciding to actually accept this nomination. And I remember it made me think back to when I was pondering running for public office when I first ran. I have young children too. And there was actually a very key turning point for me that made me say, I got to do this, and I got to do this for the people of Guam and to serve. And I appreciated your testimony, but there has to have been something specific that inspired you to be able to walk away from all of these things that you've worked so hard for over the last 15 years and to actually take this course. So what was that? What was that actual turning point where you said, you know what, I'm actually going to do this?
I think my decision at this point is a culmination of all of my experiences, but if I was to draw on something very specific, it would have been that clerkship, right? Actually, before I even finished law school, when I came back to Guam, and I got to know better the attorneys who practiced here. I got to understand. At that point, there were a lot of other visiting judges who were at the district court and hearing cases, and I got to know Judge Munson fairly well. I got to know some of the Ninth Circuit judges, and I enjoyed doing the work of the judiciary, writing memos, making recommendations, listening to arguments, sitting through trials. And I think even though I left, some people, they enjoy that work and they stay in clerkships, and I knew I wanted to get out there and get some experience under my belt, which I did. And I even thought, well, maybe it's not Guam. Maybe it's in California. So I took the bar there. And then I thought, I joined Carl Smith Ball, which is a Hawaii-based law firm. And I even went to Hawaii, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a career in Hawaii. And then after 2 years, I knew I had to come back home, even though none of my immediate family was here. And I think it's grounded in that experience I had as a clerk at the District Court of Guam, where I knew that I wanted to head back into the judiciary. So when I came back to Guam, I made partner. And I was actually too young at that point to be considered as a judge in the Superior Court, and there were openings. But I always threw my name out there, just in case people wanted to write my name in the blanks, because sometimes they do surveys. So I just continued to keep my name out there. I would mention my interest to the governor, and here I am. And I think, even though it's been 15 years since that experience where I was really on that side of the courtroom, I will always remember it. And I do think that I'm going to do my best work on the bench for the island.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm a very firm believer that oftentimes people try and steer their course in life, but sometimes the highest callings are those that just kind of materialize. We kind of go out there and we have different experiences, and yet something just keeps calling us to a certain path. And that's what I'm hearing you sharing with us today. And that for me is perhaps the most meaningful thing that I have heard so far today. Because if you're answering a calling, then that means that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So I'm very excited about your nomination, and I look forward to your confirmation.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you very much, Senator Nicholas. Senator Morrison?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank all those who provided testimony this evening, and I just want to quickly thank you for your many contributions to our community, and I look forward to supporting your nomination. And it's nice to see your wonderful family here and your little children running around, so that was good to see. But thank you, Mr. Chairman, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you very much, Senator Morrison. You got 9 out of 15 at this moment. So you received the commitment of a majority of the members of the 33rd Guam Legislature. So I just want to once again congratulate you on your appointment. Thank you for offering and extending yourself to the people of Guam indefinitely into the future, especially in this particular capacity. It appears as if, in fact, you understand the temperament, you understand what is needed to sit in that judgeship, that particular seat, and to serve our community. And we're very proud to cast our votes, and certainly we look forward to casting it in your favor. So thank you again. The committee now concludes the confirmation hearing on the appointment of Ms. Elyze Iriarte, and will continue to receive written testimony for the subsequent 10 days, and then the committee report will be concluded at that point in time. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Situs Masi.